As a realtor, there's nothing worse than seeing a client lose 5, 10, or even $20,000. And it's not because of a market crash, it's because of a simple mistake that could have been prevented within 5 minutes. So today I'm going to be pulling back the curtain on the top 5 worst mistakes you can make so that way you don't make the same mistakes and end up costing yourself thousands. Number 1, this is probably the most common thing that I see happen, and a lot of people don't realize that they shouldn't do it. Messing up your credit. Now, this happens so often. So a lot of people end up getting their contract accepted for a brand new house, and what do? They go ahead and buy a whole bunch of new furniture. But the thing is, they don't buy this cash, they put it on their brand new credit card. Now, doing this before you actually own the home can be detrimental. Opening new lines of credits or even taking out thousands in credit card debt can affect your debt to income ratio. Now, this can alter your mortgage right before it gets approved. If you are planning on buying a ton of new furniture or a new car or anything to go with your new home, make sure to do it after you get the keys to the house. Remember, touch nothing financial until you have those keys in hand. Mistake number 2, waiving the inspection. Now, I know the housing market is super competitive these days, so sometimes it might seem better to just waive that inspection. But I've seen so many people confidently say that they do not want an inspection on this home, and it ends up costing them tens of thousands, if not over $100,000 in repairs. A lot of times the inspection is the one thing that a lot of people keep in their offers. They keep this so that way they still have a way to back out and keep their earnest money deposit. Now, there are other contingencies in place that can protect your money if you do waive the inspection, but you do not want to rely on those. Keeping your inspection is the soundest way to make sure that you keep your earnest money deposit in the event that you find something that's terrible and you need to back out. Now, if you can't back out because of any other contingency, you're stuck with a home that needs $80,000 in repair. You gotta keep that inspection contingency. The number 3 biggest mistake is only saving enough money for a down payment. What a lot of people don't know is that it actually costs more than just a down payment to buy a house. On top of your down payment, you also have to account for closing costs. Now, if you like to Google or AI a bunch of things, it's gonna generally tell you to save 2 to 5%. Now, 2 to 5% is a very generous number, but most times real estate agents we see probably around 2%, maybe 3% on the high end. Saving a little bit more is always a good thing, but once you have 2%, start talking to your realtor and your lender immediately. Sometimes you might not need to save any more than that. Now, if you don't factor this in, you could be stuck with a ton of closing costs when it comes time to close on your transaction, and you have nowhere to get this money. So make sure you do the simple 5-minute math to figure out how much you need for closing costs based on how much your house costs. Number 4 is not negotiating for seller credits. A lot of times buyers will see that a home says as is. So when the realtor offers, do we want to try and get seller credits back? They're like, no, the home is sold as is. That is wrong. Nothing is done till it's done. Real estate is always a negotiation. It is your real estate agent's job to make sure that they still fight for credits even though that house is listed as is. Now, you need to know that this is not guaranteed. They don't owe you anything, but you at least need to ask. I've had plenty of instances where homeowners say that they don't want to give any credits. We go into escrow, we do the inspection, and then we realize there's a lot that needs to be fixed. We ask for the credits and we get it. Now, why do they give it to us? They give it to us because they don't want to have to go through all this again and find another buyer. You absolutely need to make sure your real estate agent is having that conversation with the listing agent and seeing if there is any opportunity to get credits back. Mistake number 5, this is the biggest but most overlooked one. Treating the final walkthrough as a quick preview. A lot of things can change from when somebody's moving out of their house. Sometimes you might not notice damage that was done while they're moving out. That is why it is absolutely crucial that you pay close attention during your final walkthrough. A good rule of thumb is to take a video while you're doing the inspection. Now, when you do your final walkthrough, you're gonna bring that video with you and you're gonna compare it and make sure that nothing's changed since that inspection. For example, they could have been removing their washer and dryer and spilled a ton of water, try to dry it and cover it up, something that you might not notice. Or there could be new tears in the carpet that you didn't notice either when they were moving out their bed. It is very important to be detail oriented, and your realtor can help you do this. I personally record every single home walkthrough that we do so that we can compare it later on. I also make sure that we record the inspections, so that way we have everything on video and you can compare it when it comes time to close on that house. If you guys are planning on buying a house, don't venture it alone. I love helping new home buyers walk them through the home buying process and share these types of tips with them. If you're ready today, just schedule a consult with me and we'll get talking within the week. Now, if you're not ready yet, be sure to like and follow for more real estate content so that way you can be prepared when the time comes to finally buy that house. Catch you guys in the next one.